Float, a card-linked installment platform, has unveiled the latest shopping trends among credit card holders using its payment method. The trends it observes speak to consumers' preferred payment method, as well as when people shop, how much they can spend on given goods and preferred goods, among other things. Well, to unpack their findings for us, I'm joined by Alex Forsyth-Thompson. He's the CEO at Float. Thank you very much for joining us. Thanks very much for joining us, Alex. So before we get into the details of your findings, for context, just tell us a little bit about how your card-linked platform actually works.
Thanks for having me, Nampu. So the way Float works is it allows shoppers to split purchases that they make on their existing credit card into monthly installments. So the premise of the product really is to give shoppers time to settle their credit card balances in the most responsible way possible without incurring any added interest fees and also without taking on any new credit. So it really is the most flexible and responsible way to pay in installments in the market.
Right. So you note that consumers use the buy now, pay later facility quite a lot. How does that work exactly? And do you end up having to pay more in interest by doing that? Of course, in your previous response, you've just said that you don't. But how do you benefit as Float if that's the case?
Yeah, the fundamental difference between Float and what's known as buy now, pay later is that Float isn't a lender. We don't extend new credit facilities to consumers. We help consumers to use their existing facilities on their existing credit cards in the smartest way possible. We never, ever charge consumers a fee. And to your point, where do we make our money? We sign up merchants. We've got a network of merchants. We're in about 1,100 stores at the moment. And we charge merchants a fee per transaction.
So what are people buying with their credit cards, and what's the most you've seen being spent in one swipe?
Yeah, so it's a wide range. I mean, we really are across a broad array of sectors. The most prevalent we see is the electronics and appliances space. So a lot of people using Float to buy productive assets, whether they are just individuals, whether they are business owners, knowledge workers, artisans, buying their laptops and phones to run their businesses, buying gym equipment, etc. So those are the most popular categories: electronics, sports and hobbies, followed by furniture and home improvements. And we see some really big purchases, and that's really the benefit of the product, is to help people to manage larger than normal swipes on their card. In fact, recently we saw 178,000 Rand being spent on gym equipment. And again, this was by a business owner stocking up his gym with gym equipment.
Yeah, no, that's massive. And just in terms of the time period that people have to pay back, what is that exactly? Because obviously it can't be for an indefinite period.
Yeah, so one of the beauties of our platform is that each merchant can configure Float to suit their business. So our platform allows from 2 to 24 monthly installments. The quintessential Float transaction you'll see over sort of 5 or 6 months. So it gives customers a lot of breathing room to manage their credit card spend.
Yeah. So with the sort of high inflation situation that we were experiencing largely last year and earlier this year, and of course high interest rates, etc., have you seen instances where people are buying the basics with their credit cards, like food?
As a rule, we don't work in those sort of categories. We won't work in sort of basic groceries and things like mass alcohol purchases, etc. We just don't believe that paying in installments is the right thing to do on those products. I'm sure the banks would be able to give some great information around daily spend, but where Float operates is those extraordinary spend items, bigger than normal purchase items. Our shoppers are generally using us sort of 3-4 times a year. And as I said, it's generally buying productive assets, things that are useful that they would either use in their business or in their home. Yeah,
so your platform is really a sort of business-to-business platform rather than a business-to-an-individual platform.
No, definitely primarily for consumers, digital businesses. As long as there's a credit card on the other end, we're indifferent. And our sole mission is to help people to use their existing credits in the best way possible. And it's great for the rest of the ecosystem because banks want people using their credit cards, and we also know that banks don't want people falling foul on their credit cards. So Float is trying to bring a balance to the entire ecosystem, helping merchants to sell more, helping consumers to buy more responsibly, and obviously driving traffic onto the credit card when there are a host of competing payment methods entering the market.
All right. Thanks very much, Alex, for telling us a little bit about Float. That was Alex Forsyth-Thompson. He's the CEO of Float.